can you speak to the crucial role that abolition plays in our work to create a healthier society? And when we're talking about abolition, we're talking about the dismantling of systems, but also, which is rarely spoken about when we talk about abolition, it's like building something new that centers care and community and the human experience, right? Do you have something you'd like to share?
I was just reflecting on the first time somebody called me an abolitionist, and I had not thought about myself as an abolitionist, and they said, well, it says here in your vision statement that you want to replace punitive systems with communities of care. Well, that's abolition. And I had not quite connected that 20 years ago when I was first sucked into this work, and it's not a job, it's a, like Kay said, it's a calling.
Yes.
My friend went to jail, and so I was sort of stuck doing this now. And she went to jail for it was an environmental health and justice action because her bay, she's a fisherwoman, the bay had been poisoned by the chemical company, so she went to jail protesting, and so that's why we have Texas Jail Project today, is because she went to jail for 5 months for the right to clean water and air. Yeah, I'm just sort of, if we invested in all the things that actually make us safe, which is clean water, air, housing, community-based care, mental health care, economic opportunities, parks, libraries. I remember when we first moved to this country 25 years ago, the libraries were open like all the time, Sundays, 10 p.m. at night. I would sit in the libraries because I couldn't go to school, I couldn't work. We had just transferred from India because my husband was transferred in his job. And I would sit at the libraries all day long and volunteer, even on Sundays. And now we don't have libraries that stay open that long. They're like limited hours. And so I think about all the things that we need as a community to keep us safe, which would prevent the criminalization. Because right now, who is sitting in our jails? People who are sitting in our jails are people who have been criminalized for their mental illness, who have been criminalized for being poor, because we are one of only 2 countries in the world where we have cash bail. So it's not, we haven't locked you up because we think you're unsafe, we've locked you up because you can't afford to buy your freedom, can't bond yourself out. It serves no public safety purpose to have a cash bail system, but that's what we have. And then we've criminalized reproductive rights and free speech and pretty much everything else you can think of. And so if we really invested in the things that we need as a community to keep us safe, we would really not need jails and prisons for the most part.
Yeah.
Right, and so that's how I see abolition.
Yeah. I think that one crucial thing that we should think about when we're talking about abolition and how it can help us form a healthier, much more just society is to remember that we're living abolition now, and that much of the work that we're talking about today is abolition work. I think that we often look at abolition as something that is impossible, right? We cannot live outside of these systems. But when we talk about community action and community care and standing in the gaps when systems fail us, that in itself is abolition work. And I think that if more of us recognize that, then we would have less fear around words like abolition,
I just want to say agreed. It's how we look at things. Shifting our mindset is one of the biggest key components of that. Because if we make a plan to burn it down, we have to make a plan to rebuild it. And if we're going to dismantle systems, then we have to look at what are we actually extracting, yes, and what are we rebuilding? What parts are we keeping? Because there are some parts of the system that work. It's the part of the system that don't work that we want to extract, right? But again, if we make a plan to burn it down, you got to make a plan to rebuild it.
Yes.
It's not one without the other.
Mm-hmm. And they're working simultaneously.
Correct. That, I think that's our hardest challenge. I just won't say that like it's easy breezy. The collective, collaborative effort comes with its stigmas. It comes with its own bias. That if I do more than you or you do more than me, you're gonna get more than me. I'm gonna get more than you. All those different things. So understanding the power of collaboration and how we definitely, and this is one of the biggest, truest statements. We do go further together.
Yes.
But we also have to understand what that looks like and what that feels like and what are the outcomes of that.
Yeah.